Hi everyone! Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we're going to be closing out August budget, and today is September 6th, so it's about time that we close out August budget, right? Yeah, so I wanted to check in with you guys, show you how we did in August. So let's go ahead and get started. If this is your first time, hi, my name is Emmy. I am a mother of two beautiful children. I am married, and this channel is all about my family's budgeting journey, how we plan on getting out of debt, how we plan on saving our money, savings challenges, sinking funds, things like that. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then please consider subscribing and liking this video so that way I know you want to see more content like this. To all my returning subscribers, hello. I know I got a lot of new subscribers recently. Thank you all so much for joining. Please leave me a comment down below so I know you stopped by, and let's go ahead and close out August. Couple of disclaimers before we get started. I did paint my own nails and I am not good at that, as you can see, so pay them no mind. Also, for those of you who don't know, I have a little side hustle business where I bake, and I did burn myself on my last adventure, and it happens to be the same color as my nails. Look at that. Pay the burn and the nails no mind. Also, if you like the layout of how I do my budget, these are actually all stickers that I make myself. I do all of these doodles and I create these stickers and I sell them on my Etsy shop. I will leave that linked down below. I have a couple of different designs and this one happens to be the back to school design. My apologies ahead of time if I sound a bit repetitive or redundant, especially for those of you who have followed me for a while, but I did recently get a lot of new subscribers, so I just want to make sure no one is lost or, they don't have any questions about how I budget. The way that I organize my budget is I like to list out all of my income first so I know what my household is bringing in. My husband is a high school band director and he teaches every day, and right now we are in the thick of marching band season. Because of his job, he gets paid salary once a month, and I work from home for a mortgage company in the insurance department, and I get paid every other Friday and I get paid hourly. So the way that our paycheck breaks down is I know every month what my husband is going to get paid because he is salaried. However, since I am an hourly employee, all I can do is budget for what the minimum amount I will make, and then if I get some overtime hours here and there, my actual paycheck may fluctuate. So that kind of shows you the discrepancy between the budget and the actual there. So after the main incomes, like my husband's paycheck and my paychecks, then I write down all the other income we might expect. So first we have Rakuten, which is a app. If you guys are not signed up for Rakuten, you should use my code down below as well. It's basically a shopping app where you can shop for the things you normally buy online, and when you shop through the Rakuten app, you get some cash back depending on what it is that you buy. I don't do a lot of online shopping, and if I do, it's on Amazon, which doesn't give you Rakuten cash back, unfortunately. But other things that you might shop online, things like DoorDash or Instacart, Rakuten gives you cash back for that. I use that a lot to buy clothes for my kiddos, and then every now and then there are cashback deals where they'll give you more percentage back than normal. So for example, Carter's is a kids store where I get a lot of clothing for my kids, and normally the cashback amount is about 1 to 2% cash back, but every now and then Rakuten will have some sort of sale going on where they'll give you like 10 to 15% cash back, and that's when I shop for clothes. And it would be really good if Carter's, the store, happens to have a clothing sale on top of that, so you can just stack up all the savings that way. Anyway, when you go through the app, you get all the cash back, and once a quarter they give you what they call a big fat check, and that gets sent directly into our bank account. So I thought I was going to get $32.74, but actually I made a couple of purchases that were past the quarterly due date, so I only got $31.63, and then the remaining amount that was in my Rakuten account will just roll over into the next quarter's big fat check. If you've watched my last couple of videos, you knew that I got braces. Before I got braces, I was part of the Smile Direct Club. Unfortunately, those aligners did not help me or my smile, so I did get a refund for those. I was expecting $1,842 as my refund from them, but I actually got a little bit more because I forgot to account for the taxes and I had to pay a deposit, things like that. So I did get a little bit more than expected, which is great. I love more money than expected. For refund checks, since my husband is a teacher, a lot of the times he has to buy things for his classroom, and if he submits those receipts, he is able to get reimbursed. So a lot of the times for our expenses, we might have a lot of unbudgeted expenses because they're things that he bought that I did not quite budget for, but he does get reimbursed for them. So I only expected 2 reimbursements this month, but we actually got 3. We use an American Express credit card. The only reason we use this credit card is for the cashback rewards, and of course it's very helpful towards your credit score. We don't ever leave a balance on this credit card. We just use it to buy everyday things, groceries, gas, things like that, and then I immediately pay it back the next day. So once a month, American Express gives us cashback rewards depending on how much we spend. I always budget for about $25 cash back, but the past couple of months it's been around the $50 mark, and August follows that same trend. As I stated in the beginning of this video, I do have a baking side hustle. I didn't have any orders this month, but I have tons for September, and I'll show you that for in another video. But this month didn't sell or make anything. I budget that we spend about $1,000 worth of sinking funds every month, and we actually spent a little bit less than that this month. So why I put this in the income is because sinking funds are technically like savings accounts, and so since we spent a certain amount of sinking funds, we had to take this from our savings account. This is like income we brought in from savings. This is the savings that we used. And finally, we have other income, which totaled $608.60. This is a whole bunch of things that I broke down here at the bottom. You can see I have a little arrow drawn all the way down here. Just little bits and bobs that added to the other income. My bank account gave us 3 cents interest. My son gave me money to help pay for a toy he wanted. Teachers every year get a supply check at the beginning of the year for $300. So my husband got his yearly supply check. I forgot that he gets that every year, so I didn't account for that at the beginning of the budget. My Wells Fargo card, like our regular debit card, gave us some rewards back for, I don't even remember, it must have been like Starbucks or something like that. There are certain stores that if you use your debit card, they'll give you cash back on. So we got a little bit there. I switched our insurance companies, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. But because I switched from Allstate, they did give us a little bit of a refund because we had a midterm change. Amazon gave us a refund because we purchased some things and they were out of stock, and so they credited us back. And from my Etsy shop, I did get $6.26, which I will show you later. I just put that right back into the business. I'm not taking a salary, or I'm not taking an income. What am I trying to say? I don't have take-home pay from my Etsy business yet. But yeah, so all that I got from Etsy, I'm just putting directly back into the business. So after all of that, our income was a little bit more than expected, about $1,000 more. $9,343.55 was our actual income for the month, which is a lot. Even the budgeted amount is a lot, but most of that was because of that huge refund that I got from Smile Direct Club. This is not our normal monthly income. Okay. The next thing I do is I write things down in order of importance. And the next thing that's important for me is bills. If we don't pay these things, the lights shut off, the water shuts off, you know, things like that. These are things that are important, need to be paid. Most of these came out as expected. Big differences here. My son's piano lessons, his teacher had to cancel a couple of times last month in July, and so she just rolled some credit over. So normally when my son would pay $60 a month for his lessons, since he had some credits rolled over, we didn't have to pay for lessons this month. Another weird thing, Amazon Video did not come out. We are subscribed to Amazon Prime, and then I thought what we had was Amazon Video. We had to pay for that separately. But upon further research, somebody commented on one of my videos. It was actually my daughter or my son, I don't know, one of them must have like wanted to watch something on PBS Kids, and they subscribed to a PBS Kids, what's it called? An add-on, I guess. So we were paying monthly for an add-on to watch PBS Kids, and I thought I canceled it, but I wasn't sure. But since it didn't come out, it looks like we did cancel it. I'll have to be on the lookout for that come September's budget. But anyway, so that was different. Another thing that was different, I wasn't expecting my son to go to a summer camp this month, but he did. There was a back to school bash that happened right before school went back in session, where they had swimming pools and inflatables, and it was a lot of fun at a neighboring church. So I ended up signing him up for 1 week of summer camp right before school went back. Trash was higher than expected because they upped their prices depending on how many garbage bins you have. So we have been paying $69 every couple of months, every quarter. And now they're increasing the price depending on if you have one garbage bin or two, and we have two. So now we have to pay $114 every quarter. And the last thing that was different is I did switch my insurance company from Allstate to Progressive, mostly because of that bill difference. So Progressive is charging $77.69 a month, whereas Allstate, for the same amount of coverage, and we bundle home and car together, they were charging $208.72 a month, which is ridiculous. That's like so much better. So we switched, and we had to pay a little bit for the first month. But for September's budget, we won't have that Allstate bill. We'll just have the Progressive bill. After all is said and done, we had $1,299.04 worth of bills. If I subtract that from our income, we are left with $8,044.51. I move that over to our next priority, which for me, those are debt payments. These are minimum debt payments that must be paid plus anything extra, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So I wrote down what was left over here so I wouldn't forget. Our mortgage is technically a debt to us because we had to borrow money to buy our house. So $718.60 for our mortgage. Minimum payment for our Wells Fargo credit card was $298. Minimum payment for my Capital One credit card was $70. And braces, like I said, this was something that was extra. It's a new debt that I've added. So I had to pay a $500 deposit to get my braces, and then I went ahead and paid $876, which is the monthly minimum payments up until the end of the year. So I don't have to make a payment on my braces until January 2023. And what I did is I knew I was going to get this huge refund from Smile Direct Club, and so I wanted to use the majority of that to help pay for the braces. So braces are, it is a debt. I still have a lot to go to pay these off, but I went ahead and paid the minimum payments for the rest of the year. My husband's car payment, every month minimum payment is $352.13. So all debt payments are $2,814.73. I subtract that from what was left over, and we are left with $5,229.78. The next priority, these are all of our expenses. Some people call these cash envelopes or variable expenses. These are things that you need, but they're not necessarily bills. For example, food, spending money, gas, and what you spend in your sinking funds. For me, I also include an unbudgeted category. So for our food category, I include groceries and eating out all in one category, mostly because if I do a huge grocery shop, usually that means we don't eat out a lot. Or if we do a lot of eating out, usually that means I'm not going grocery shopping to buy a lot of things. So it all kind of balances out for us. However, the rising prices of everything, I now know that I need to increase our food budget. Yes, a lot of our spending could be cut down, but when I'm seeing a trend every month of us going over budget in our food category, that lets me know, like, something's got to give. I can't be over budget every single month. If it's happening, it's happening, so I just need to budget more. Anyways, so we overspent in our food category by about $300. I gave my husband $50 a week for this month, and I completely forgot that marching band has started back up. And during the marching season, I don't see my husband. I don't know how marching band is in your area, but I live in the southern United States where marching band is a really, really big deal. They attend state competitions, national competitions, and of course the pep band attends football games, which football is really big in my area as well. So that means not only does my husband teach every day, Monday through Friday, like a regular school day, but after school he has rehearsals with his marching band where sometimes like today, I'm filming at 9 o'clock at night and my husband is not home yet. That's just part of the job. And then of course, if there's a football game or a Saturday marching band competition, sometimes he'll be home even later, depending on where those competitions are. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm saying all of that to say that because he is not home, he has to use his allowance a lot of the time on snacks, eating dinner or lunch out. That's usually what he spends his allowance on. We aren't people who frivolously spend on things that we want, such as gadgets, toys. Every now and then I'll spend my allowance on things off of Etsy or Amazon, but a lot of times those spends are like for things that we need, like clothes or things for the house. Most of the time our spending allowance is for food. Our love language is food. But it's not necessarily food like if we go out as a family to a restaurant, it's like, oh, I really wanted a smoothie on my way home from picking up the kids. That wasn't necessarily anything that we needed. It was something I wanted, so that's what counts as my allowance. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I'm really rambling a lot today. Because my husband is in full swing of marching band time, I should have known to increase his allowance to $100 a week. I know that seems like a lot, but he needs a lot when it comes to eating and snacks and keeping him going. So I made a mistake and budgeted not enough. So he definitely went over budget, but that's because I didn't do that right. For my allowance, I work from home. I don't really go out too much except to pick up the kids from school or daycare, or to the grocery store, things like that. But so I don't really leave. If I ever spend money, it's to treat myself to a lunch out or something. So I only give myself $40 a week. I used to give myself $50. Before that, I used to give myself $75. I'm trying to slowly decrease my allowance. And right now, $40 is really pushing it. Like, there are times where I'm like, there's no way I can make it. So, but we're going to keep it at $40 for next month. We'll see, because this month I stayed under budget. Only spent $117.11. For gas, I really tried to account for filling up both of our cars once a week, where my husband probably fills up more than me and I probably fill up once every other week. so it all kind of balances out in the end. But even that, filling up both of our cars once a week was still an over budget because we only spent $326.62, which is good to be under budget. I thought we would spend $1,000 in sinking funds, but we spent $878.47. Now, we spent this much in sinking funds, but I only brought over $835.27, which is about $40 less. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because we spent out of sinking funds where we did not have money, which means that we had to use our checking account bank buffer in order to pay for some of this. And I'll go over that in a second, but just know that this does not match this over here, and that's on purpose. Okay, really quick, I wanted to show you my sinking funds. I need to fill all of this out for the month. I haven't done that yet, but basically what I do is I write down all of our sinking funds that we have and any transactions below that. So all of our transactions that we did for the month were okay, except for two categories, house and personal care. We overspent in our house category by $15.20. This was because my husband wanted to buy something for our bathroom that I didn't know he wanted to buy, and we didn't have enough funds for that, but he did use the American Express credit card to buy it. So I used some of our sinking funds that we had left to pay for it, but I had to use our bank account buffer to pay for the remaining $15.20, which is not a big deal. We had that in our bank buffer. And next was personal care. My husband ended up getting a haircut that I wasn't aware he was going to get. So we had some money in our personal care account, but we didn't have enough to cover the haircut because he also bought some gel and things to go with it. So I used some of our sinking funds from personal care, but the $28 that was remaining, I had to use our bank buffer for that. So in total, $43.20 of our bank buffer had to be used in order to pay for some of these sinking fund expenses. So that is why, let me go back to it here. That is why we spent $878.47, but that $43.20, I think is what it was, that was not used. I had to use our actual bank buffer in order to pay for that additional $40. So that's why there's a $40-ish difference here. I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know. I'll try to explain it better. Okay, so all of our expenses over budget, $3,699.60. I subtract that from what was left over, so we now have $1,530.18 left to play with. And this is what would go into savings. None of the savings are necessary. This is our final priority that we go into, but it's good to have savings, right? So $1,530.18 left to save for the month. We have a save and go account with our Wells Fargo bank. This is not something we signed up for. It's just something that was given to us when we applied for a checking account. Basically, every time you spend on your debit card, whether that's swiping your card or having a bill paid, things like that, Wells Fargo will take a percentage of what you spend and then move that percentage to your savings account, which is great because by the end of the month, it's only $10 or so, but every little bit helps, and it's not money that is all of a sudden gone and you're going to miss. It's a very small amount that it's not going to mess up your budget too badly. The penny savings challenge, I did save some during my first paycheck. Second paycheck, I didn't use cash at all, so I didn't have anything for the penny savings challenge, and I have tons of change for paycheck number 3 that we're going to count together in just a minute. And the dice savings challenge, this is a challenge I do with my allowance, where I roll a 20-sided die, and then whatever number it lands on, I take that amount of money from my personal spending and I put it into a savings envelope. And this month I happened to save $70 that way, which is awesome. Sinking funds, I wanted to put $1,100 away to our different sinking fund accounts. And for sinking funds, I do all of that digitally through an app called Qube Money, and I'll leave a link down in my description box if you are interested in checking out Qube Money. I believe in the UK people call it Hyperjar. It's very similar to Hyperjar, or maybe Monzo. I'm not sure if that's the same thing, but I know Hyperjar is very similar to Qube Money. And Emmy Budgets, which is my Etsy shop, I wanted to put $50 away to my Etsy shop business for restocking supplies, things like that. So I put the $50 away plus the $6.26 that Etsy paid me. That's just going right back into the business. I'm saving up to buy a new car. There's nothing wrong with my car. It's just an old car, and so I would like an upgrade. And so putting away a little bit of money every month so I can have a hefty down payment. And the Disney challenge. This is something that I started where I wanted to put money away to take my family to Disney. And so me, my husband, my 6-year-old son, and my 2-year-old daughter, if we were to go to Disney, would the tickets, the cost of travel, all of that, I thought it would be around $4,000. So every time I have anything extra left over, I can put that towards the Disney challenge, hopefully getting closer to our $4,000 goal. And I was able to put $75 away for that. So let's tackle some of those challenges. First, the Disney challenge. This is my challenge binder. This is where I keep my dice savings challenge. And here is my Disney challenge. I made this myself. Isn't it cute? I wanted to post this on my Etsy, but I figured like there are some trademark things happening here. So, but I think if I make it for my own personal use, it should be fine. So my Disney challenge, I want to save $4,000, and inside the little Mickey heads, I have different increments of how much I save, anywhere from $5 all the way to $50. So far I've put $100 away, and this is also being saved on my Qube Money. So I don't have an envelope of physical cash of all of this that's saved, but it is in my Qube Money account. So while I have you here, I want to go ahead and cross off my $75. So I'm going to cross off a 50 down here, and then I'm gonna cross off a 25 right there, and that's $75. Woohoo! 175, which seems like a little drop in the big pool that is 4,000, but every little bit helps. Okay. Next is the penny savings challenge, which I told you I have a whole bunch of change. So I have this envelope where I converted some of the change that was in my penny savings challenge jar. I went ahead to the bank and exchanged a lot of it for dollar bills because my jar was getting full. That's what this envelope is. I need to label it here. But I can go ahead and count up the change from paycheck number 3, which is a lot of change here, and we'll see how much we saved. So it's hard to do with nails. I've never grown my nails out this long, and it's kind of difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I need to cut them, I think. I'm not used to it. Let's see, 25, 50, 60. I can't even pick this up. 70. What is that? Ooh, check that out. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm blinding you probably. 5 centavos. What's that say? República de Guatemala. Oh, Oh, so that's not American currency, but that's cool. I'll just set you right over there. All right, cool. All right, so let's see. I lost count. I've never seen a coin like that. 60, 70. 40. Ooh. Coin down. So we have $5.82. I'm gonna put that in the jar later because I don't want to burst your eardrums. Okay, so we had $5.82, but then from paycheck number 1, I put $117 away. 582 plus 117. So in total, I put $6.99 away from the penny savings challenge. $6.99. But right now I have 582. So let me go ahead and cross this off before I forget. This is the penny savings challenge from Rainbow Budgets. I love it. I bought this on a digital download and laminated it myself, and it's great and it's wonderful, but now I kind of regret it and I want it to fit in my binder. So I might have to buy like a physical A4 size. A4? A5. I don't know the sizes. Maybe this is A6. I don't know. A different size. You know what I mean. Get it together. Okay. So I have 582 that I can cross off. Let's do the next biggest number, which is 356. Then I'm left with 226. Woohoo. Let that dry. Put that away. Okay. Bringing this binder back in. All right, so I can tally all this up now that I've counted my penny savings challenge. So I saved 10 in my save and go, $6.99 for penny savings, 70 for dice savings, put money away for sinking funds, put money away towards my Etsy shop, towards my car, and towards the Disney challenge. So that is $1,418.25. If I subtract that from what was left over, I should have a remaining balance in my checking account of $111.93, which is true. Or at least that's what's going to be rolled over in my checking account. All right. I'm going to go ahead and finish out my summary box here. Again, all of these stickers can be found on my Etsy shop, so I include a little summary box down here at the bottom just to make sure all of these tables are adding up correctly. So I take my total income here, 9,343.55, and then I subtract all of those categories. So subtracting all of our bills, subtracting all of our debts, subtracting all of our expenses, subtracting all of our savings, and we're left with $111.93. That is correct. All right, so we ended August on a positive note, saved a lot more than expected, paid off a lot more than expected in terms of debts, even though we did overspend in some of our expense categories, and a lot of that is good because of our additional income we had this month. I'm hoping September is going to be a good month as well, but that's August. Done. Get out. Done with you. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Please consider liking this video, subscribing if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video, my friends. Take care. Bye-bye.